I guess all kids play, cowboys and Indians. I don't remember which one I was. But no, it was never really a dream of mine as a child. Having said that, to get to wear a black hat and black clothes and on a black horse, black man, to ride around on the horse, spinning the guns and doing all of that is like being a kid again. I mean, it was really fun, and they actually paid us.
Sergio Leone he's the king of, the Western and the spaghetti Western and, everything from Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and Fistful of Dollars and Once Upon a Time in the West. I mean, these are amazing movies. I didn't see them as a kid. I saw them probably within the last 6 or 7 years. That was when, for me, I fell in love with Westerns, and it coincided with the time in my life where I was able to do a Western, so that it's definitely a dream come true of a kid who was probably about 31 when he saw that Western. And that kid's dream is coming true, yeah.
Kurosawa, first of all, his film, Seven Samurai, really was an inspiration, but I think Sergio Leone was the master that actually changed the Western as we knew it in America. In America, the Westerns were pretty wholesome, and, the good guy had to wear the white hat and, say, all the sweet things. Where Sergio Leone came along and the good guy was the bad guy. And sometimes you never even had a name. And I think it changed the way we saw the West. In a very strange way, I think Sergio Leone's Westerns were more true to what the West was.
An actor ought to have a backstory, ought to know, in order to know where you're going, you should know where you came from. But as Antoine was saying, and I think it's true in this case, and in other cases, you don't necessarily have to tell the audience the whole backstory.
The late, great James Horner, he brought a lot to the film. James wrote 7 songs, ironically 7 songs, before he passed, based on the script, and it was a surprise. He was going to give me a surprise. So it was 7 songs he wrote, based on just the script and a few discussions we've had. James was, even his daughter, we had a conversation with his daughter the other night. She was there in Canada. And she smiled at me because she said, "You really knew my dad," because I said he was magical. And James, he was magical. He was this little guy, quiet, he didn't say much, but he was a storyteller. He was the first composer I ever sat down and we watched the movie a couple times, and we never talked music, we just talked story. Because in his mind, he was thinking how his music could help the story. So it was never like just a music thing, it was a story. And I think that's what made him so special. And he believed in making the audience feel. That's what he would always say to me. That's why his music is so sweeping, because he wanted to make you feel what was going on in the story.
No, I don't think I'm that brave. But Faraday is, and in this movie has an opportunity to redeem himself and make up for some of the things that he's done that he doesn't feel good about, that he feels guilty about. And in my estimation, people who sacrifice themselves or put themselves in harm's way to protect the greater good are my heroes. That includes my brother, who's a law enforcement officer, and all the men and women in the armed forces. People who, pick up a gun and go to work, that to me is bravery and heroism and selfless sacrifice for the greater good of for your community or your country, or a cause that's greater than yourself. That to me is somebody who's heroic. As far as the physical preparation goes, there was some horse training, and real horses are definitely more dangerous than animated dinosaurs. Luckily we had good horse trainers, and I was wise enough at this point in my life to take it really slowly. I've always treated horses like motorcycles or something in my life, like a piece of machinery. I get on it, I hit the gas, I expect it to go, and then I'm surprised when it throws my ass off, but it's actually a living, breathing being, and I approached it with enough apprehension this time around to avoid being injured, luckily. But that was part of the physical preparation, was riding horses and also working with guns and doing some card tricks, and there was a lot of business to do and preparation for this role for me.